Lady Gaga shuts down Piers Morgan's faulty assumptions about PTSD and rape. This all took place on Twitter. So first, Lady Gaga, she had an interview on the Today Show. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure you could Google it, or maybe we could include the link. And she talked about a rape that happened to her when she was raped at 19 years old. And she had mentioned this before, but she talked about how now she's suffering from PTSD. So Piers Morgan wanted to chime in on his thoughts. He actually replied to one of her tweets saying, "No, soldiers returning from battlefields do," meaning PTSD. "Enough of this vain, glorious nonsense." He goes on to say, "I come from a big military family. It angers me when celebrities start claiming PTSD about everything to promote themselves. No, Lady Gaga and Madonna," because remember we just reported a Madonna speech about her rape when she was in New York City, her speech for the Billboard Woman of the Year. So he says, "No, Lady Gaga and Madonna have both made allegations of rape many years after the event. No police complaint, no charges, no court case." So this is when Lady Gaga shuts him down. She says, "Piers Morgan, I've worked with our VP Joe Biden on helping educate people about why women don't report. Would love to share it with you sometime." And then she goes on to say, "Would also love to talk to you about PTSD. That is not just a military disorder. There is a mental health youth epidemic." And then she says, "If anyone in your family suffers from it, I pray they have more good days than bad. It has affected me and my whole family." He says, "I know numerous soldiers with PTSD. It's a very serious thing. I also know people who claim to have it but clearly don't. Let's talk." Wow. She says, "Let's do that. And yes, Mr. Morgan, I can handle you. Surprised you would question that. Was that the first question of our interview?" He replies, "I rather admire Lady Gaga for agreeing to an interview after my criticism. Should be a fascinating debate. I'll press my meat suit." She wore the meat suit years ago to an award show. And then she finally says, "If you continue to shame me in the process of kindly agreeing to interview with you, I'll happily do the interview with someone else." And that's that. Wow. What were your thoughts? Did you guys see this take place in real time?
No,
Okay.
did not. But I first of all, Piers has a responsibility as a journalist to be informed on everything when it comes to a topic such as PTSD. Because again, yes, military people that have been in combat do suffer from PTSD, but PTSD can be caused by abandonment, assault, loss of a limb, neglect. There's so many things there's so many
trauma.
Right, exactly, trauma in general. And also, how eloquent was Lady Gaga in the fact that her tone, nothing that she said in those tweets was nearly as aggressive as Piers. And her saying, "Piers, you idiot, I'm giving you the opportunity to talk to me about this. But yet you still continue to be a douchebag in these tweets." I lost a lot of respect for Piers in this. A lot of respect.
Agreed.
So here's what's ironic to me, is that Piers is going after Lady Gaga for using post-traumatic stress disorder for publicity. And in doing so, it seems like Piers is the one who's using post-traumatic stress disorder for publicity. That's what he does. It's what he did.
No, it's absolutely what he does. When you go to Piers Morgan's Wikipedia page, there's an entire section on feuds.
Yeah.
And he's an interviewer. He was his CNN show is canceled, and now he's overseas doing stuff. But I think that he definitely views picking feuds with people online, with high-profile celebrities, with public figures, as a way to gain viewership. But that in turn doesn't actually equal credibility. He loses credibility every time he does this.
And he's just further...
He sounds stupid.
Right.
He sounds really dumb.
I mean, not knowing him, growing from like the Daily Mirror guy through getting famous enough in the UK to get Larry King's spot on CNN, we just met him as the guy who took over for CNN. And a lot of the viewer, it got canceled really quickly.
His ratings were very low.
Because the viewers were just like, who the hell is this dumbass?
Yeah, and he's further perpetuating that falsehood that if you're a victim of rape or sexual assault and you don't report it, it doesn't mean that it never happened. And in the article on Huffington Post, I don't have it with me, but it did have that statistic that of like 1,000 rapes, 300, only 344 are reported, and that the large amount of the perpetrators that did actually, rape the person or sexually assault the person, male or female, don't have jail time. And so that not only does that make people not want to come forward, but then of course the shame when you do come forward, that Piers Morgan is further proving.
Yeah, it's weird because on the one hand, Piers Morgan seems ignorant, either willfully or not. He seems ignorant. And by getting this interview, it seems like he's being rewarded for that ignorance. But then again, isn't our goal generally to get people to just stop being ignorant by any means necessary? It's weird, though. It would be great if Piers turned around and said, "You know what? It seems to me like I was wrong." And through this and when he got the interview, when she agreed to the interview.
He further shamed her.
It
Right.
seemed like it would be awesome and move on from that. Let's go schedule the interview, have that discussion then. But,
Yeah,
but
I
then to
completely
continue to be
agree.
a dick. I mean, and with the feuds thing, you just conclude, no, Piers Morgan needs to just shut up and leave.
Well, his
he
role
did.
as a journalist is to educate his viewers and not antagonize his guests.
I hope
not.
that
What
she
is
doesn't.
wrong
He's not a
with him?
journalist.
I hope that
Piers
she.
Morgan-
He views himself as a journalist though, and what he views himself as, asking the tough questions. He said when his CNN show got canceled, he said that, I have a feeling that a lot of people thought I was just going on and yelling and shouting, but he was like, I was talking about these American cultural issues, and I was coming in as an outsider, and maybe that was uncomfortable for people. I'm like, no, you were uncomfortable for people.
Right.
I see his attempt to be like rhetorically antagonistic for the end of
Calling people
of
liars,
revealing something
sexual
and
assault and
making it
rape.
interesting to watch. But he isn't as good at it as he needs to be for me to respect whatever craft he thinks he's honed.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I don't like the fact that he's now being rewarded. I hope she doesn't take the interview. I hope she does the interview with someone else, because I don't think
Yeah.
that you should.
Yeah.
It's almost like he bullied her into the interview. I don't
Right.
like it at all.
And she was too gracious.
way gracious.
Great.
You know,
it made her look
she was
great and made him look bad.
There's no way to be too gracious. She was great.
She was fantastic.
Also, real quick, I just want to
Yes.
read some statistics
Yep.
in regards to PTSD. According to the National Alliance on Mental Health Issues, that 70% of adults in the U.S. experience some kind of traumatic experience. That's 223 million people in the States. And 8% of those people develop PTSD. That's 24 million Americans at any time that are suffering from PTSD. And this is what even was more shocking, that 46% of mental health outpatients, meaning people who go see psychiatrists, go see a counselor, are suffering from PTSD.
Yeah.
So it's very, very real. And again, it doesn't
and
have to be.
and it's not just contingent upon soldiers, which
Exactly.
soldiers definitely do deal with it. But there's
What's
trauma.
his freaking goal here?
I know, right? Shaming
To, like,
everybody.
Yeah, well, yeah, not to shame,
Well, yeah,
like
if
be
you're
like,
dealing-
sorry, like people
Well,
who are dealing
he's
with.
saying only soldiers can deal with soldiers can
attacking
deal
a
with
rape
PTSD.
victim, you know,
yeah,
like, what
I know.
are you doing?
And
Right.
again, he should know better as an informed, I guess, not journalist, but as someone who tells stories and gives us the news, he should know better than to make that assumption.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy to me. Okay, please share your thoughts in the comment section below. We want to know what you have to say, and we'll see you next time.